Welcome along to Obsession Engineering, and today I've got the BMW on the dyno at Black and White Bikes because we need to do a little bit of testing. So I'm here because I've got an event coming up with a quite strict noise limit, and so we've got the big noisy Arrow silencer on the bike which is not going to pass noise test, and we've also got an A16 silencer that's much bigger and should be much quieter. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give the bike a bit of a run on each silencer, see how noisy they are and see what the power difference is. So the plan is to start with my normal Arrow silencer. I mean, I have actually got a really noisy Megaphone TT silencer which is worth about 2 horsepower, but that can't be used basically anywhere but the Isle of Man. So this is my normal silencer, and most static noise tests at circuits, it's about 102 decibels, but it's not great at ride-bys. So we're going to do a base power run with this silencer on it, and then we're going to fit the A16 silencer. We'll noise test both of them and we'll see what the noise difference is and what the power difference is. Now I could put a baffle straight in the end of here, and I have used it like that before, but it does kill it. The problem with the baffle is, because you're not actually increasing the volume of sound deadening material in the silencer, you have to restrict the airflow quite substantially before you'll actually take a reasonable amount of noise out of it. And so putting the baffle in, I think, will actually kill more horsepower than just running a bigger silencer. But today we're going to find out. So if you want some dyno work doing, come and see Paul at Black and White Bikes, and he can fit you in for power runs, bike checks, and woolage remapping and stuff like that. So if you want a bike dynoing or you need some service work doing, give Paul at Black and White Bikes a shout. So the difference between the Arrow silencer and the A16 is pretty big, as in this one is bigger. But also, inside this one, it isn't going to flow gas quite as nicely because I've got Paul at A16 to make it straight down to 50 mil. So we are going to lose a little bit of the airflow because it's smaller diameter, but that means we've actually got much more volume of packing material in there. So it should kill the noise fairly well. And just hoping it doesn't kill too much of the power. So we'll get that on the bike and see what it does for noise and power. Perfect, 99 decibels. Right, it's time to look at the numbers, and I will admit I am quite surprised by this. I was expecting to lose 5 to 10 horsepower, and in fact what we've actually lost is half a horsepower. 205.75 or 205.8 I think was the best one. Best one on the A16, 205.11 horsepower, and we've basically lost a foot-pound of torque. So if we actually look at the graphs, the Arrow's actually better like through the middle, and in effect once you get past 6,000 RPM the gap is pretty much static all the way through, all the way to the top. And yeah, there's a couple of little glitches, and where the secondary throttle's open the A16 actually has more of a dip there, but actually it's only half a horsepower and a foot-pound of torque difference, and the air-fuel ratios and bits are pretty much the same, and considering how much more restrictive that pipe should be, I'm really surprised by how well it's performed on the dyno. So what we've learned really is that if you're after ultimate performance, the Arrow silencer is a little bit better, and it's also a fair bit lighter because it's completely titanium construction, including the perf tube and the carbon bits. So this is lighter and does make a little bit more power and a little bit more torque than the A16. But the A16 is quite a bit quieter. 5 to 6 decibels is a substantial amount in the scale, and it still looks good. It's got titanium bits on it, and it's only lost us a fraction of our horsepower, and of course is half the price of an Arrow as well. And so ultimate performance, you want the Arrow. If you're looking for a really good alternative, A16. And now I'm happy going to my next event that's going to be considerably quieter with my quiet pipe not losing me any horsepower, so that is happy days. So I'd like to say a thank you to Paul at Black and White Bikes for looking after us, and just to be completely honest as well, I paid for my A16 silencer. I've known Paul for years, he's a really good guy. I did actually pay for that with my own money though, so yeah, it is a plug, but really that was surprisingly good. So thank you for watching, and join me again next time when we'll be going somewhere a bit quieter.